Hi, this is Dave, Fellow Running Guide. Welcome to this week's navigation task. This week we've got an elevation profile, and what I want you to do is look at it and see if you can work out where I did that run. So where did I start, where did I finish, and what was my route? So that is the profile, and it is somewhere on that map. So let's have a look a little bit more closely at the elevation profile. And what can we see? Well, it's we can see by the trace that it's not an out and back course. It's not a profile that looks like I've done one route and then turned around and gone back on myself. And other things to observe are that the start elevation here, about 50 meters, is higher than the finish elevation here, which is probably only about 10 meters. So I didn't start and finish at the same place, even if I've gone on a loop. So I've started higher than I finished. The distance across here is in kilometers, so the total distance is about just slightly over 7 kilometers. And the high point is, well, that's 400 meters there. I've not got to 500 meters, but I'm probably about 480 meters at the high point. So that is that. So what we're looking for is a start point of around 50 meters. So let's have a look on the map. So here is the 50 meter contour there. So I've got to be starting somewhere close to that. It makes sense that I'm going to be starting from a road somewhere. So I couldn't be starting at this point here because see that's the 100 meter contour. So I'm about 90 meters starting there. So it's got to be lower than that. So could be somewhere on this road here. This is a bit too low, and then so I could be somewhere along this bit here. There I'm starting to get a bit too low again. So there's 50 meters, could be along there. Anywhere along here it's too low. So those are things to bear in mind. The other thing to think about is the actual shape of the profile. We've got a very steep start and then it flattens off slightly, still going uphill, then steepens again till we get to the summit. And we see the summit here is just over 2 kilometers into my run. And then I've got a gradual downhill. I've got a little bump up again there. So once I've got to the summit, it's not downhill all the way. It's downhill for this section and then a slight rise and then downhill again. And then it flattens off, and then we've got a very steep drop off the other side. A little bump rise again there, and then it's downhill and then flat. So let's have a look if we can identify this steep start and then a gradual and then up to the summit. So I couldn't be starting here because that would be a very gradual rise before steepening up. Here I've got the high point of 479, so we saw on the profile that that summit point was around 480, so it makes sense that I'm going up to this summit point here. Nothing else on the map is high enough really to do that. Could I be going up from this P for parking here around the sort of just the 60 meter contour? Well, I could. Some people have suggested that I've gone up to this point here and then along and then to Ward Hill Summit. Now that makes sense, but it doesn't if we look at the profile and if we look a little bit more clearly at the contours, because we can see here we've got a ring contour here, so that'd be going up and then dropping down again to this saddle here before going up again. But actually on the map, although we go up and then don't go up as steeply, there's no drop off before we go up again. So I haven't gone up to this point and then down and up. What I could have done is I could have skirted underneath this house of Koyoa and gone steeply up and then not as steep and then steeply again. if I've done that, notice that the summit arrives very soon after this steepening. It doesn't go up and then sort of a long gradual run into the summit. It's steep and then the summit's almost there. And then that's what we actually see there. So yeah, I could have done that route. What about then this gradual down and then a little rise again before we drop down more? Well, that would be from Wood Hill, this drop down, this long spur here, dropping down to here, and then we've got this ring contour here where we rise back up again. So that would be my route down there to this low point and then rising up again. So then we're dropping down, a slight flattening, and then down much more steeply. So can we see that? So there, I'm not dropping straight away steeply down. I'm dropping a little bit more gradually and then flattening off and then starting to drop steeply down. So that would indicate me dropping down to just above 100 meters elevation, and then I've got a slight bump there. So can we find that? Well, here is your 150 meter contour. Here is your 100 meter contour. So I've gone to just a bit higher than that, and then I've gone up again slightly. So maybe I've not taken a direct route straight down to the road. Maybe I've dropped down and then had to climb up a little bit more. What about after that? Here I'm dropping down steeply again, and then a gradual over a kilometre with a little dip and then flat to this where we finished, probably not much more than 20 meters above sea level. Well, there could be along this road a little dip in here, and then you can see here, look, not much higher than 10 meters above sea level there. So that is that. I'm actually going to show you my exact route that I took. It's there, it's the purple line. So steeply up, missed out that little ring contour, in, up to the top, long gradual down, climb that ring contour down to there, steeply down, and this here is just that little bump up where I went down, and I was aiming to come down to this road corner. I could see it. When I got to this point here, the vegetation was a bit deep, heathery, so I cut due south on better terrain, ever so slight rise, and then down to the road corner, and then in from there. So hope you got that one right. I hope just by looking at the profile you could work out that it wasn't a circular route starting and finishing at the same place, and it wasn't an out and back. And you should be able to work out from these elevations roughly the points where I started and finished. But anyway, that was what I did. Hope it was useful and interesting. Thanks for watching. Look out for next week's navigation task. Bye for now.